remove the headliner, the top one, you remove these 5 plastic rivets. Then on the driver's side, you pull out this foam. It's just pressed in there. On my vehicle, it was not held in by anything. So you wiggle this out, and once you wiggle that out, you should be able to get that top headliner off. And it just pulls out like that. Then on the passenger side, there's also a piece of foam that can be wiggled out by just lifting it up and pulling in the right direction. And it just pulls out like that. The next thing to do will be to take off the shelf. Now the shelf is going to be held in. You can see there's a connection right here. So you flip the sun visor down, and under here there's a bolt that needs to be taken off on both sides, the driver and passenger side. To remove that, you need a 3/16 inch hex wrench. And of course, you have to remove it from both sides. There are 2 more of those bolts in the center. Then you also have to take the sun visors off. And of course the driver's side. There are 2 bolts here for the sun visor, and then just in front of that, or actually behind that, is another hex bolt that holds in the shelf. And of course, that's also on the passenger side. This bolt from the factory was stripped when it was put in. It was very difficult to get out. So far we've removed 10 bolts, and now there's 2 more in the handle on each side, so that would be 14. The ones that hold the handle in are a little bit shorter, so you need to keep those separated. Then of course there are 6 plastic screws that need to be pulled out. That's pretty good. none of them broke. All of them stayed intact. So that's a good thing. And there's one hidden up there. And this bolt is the shortest bolt that we've taken out so far. I'm going to put that right there. On the passenger and driver side, there's this little cover right here that you need to pry off, because underneath that little cover is another bolt. And the driver's side. Once you remove those two bolts, it's pretty much loose. You need to remove these electrical connections. And it just slides off, pulling forward. Actually, it slides off pulling to the back of the van. And that's it. And that's your shelf. After that, there are 4 more of these little plastic rivets or screws that you have to pry off. And boy, these are nerve-wracking to pull off. Oh, man. Boy, these are no fun to pull off. I think I'm going to make a change to this tool. I think I'm going to cut this back a little bit further. Okay, I modified the tool a little bit. Hopefully I didn't weaken it. Back in there. Yeah, holds on a little bit better. Actually, I should have made it a little bit wider. Yes, I'm going to widen this tool. I may weaken it to the point where I end up breaking it. I want that slot wide enough that this will go all the way into it. So back to the grinder. Now that fits in there. Hopefully, I haven't weakened the tool too much and it'll still work. Let's give it a try. All right, I modified my tool. We'll see if I modified it too much. If I modified it too much, the tool might just break. I should be able to get that all the way in there. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's much better. Doesn't go shooting across the room. Yeah, that's a good modification. I recommend that. It makes it much more controlled. There are 2 bolts under here that you're going to need a socket set for. Okay, these bolts take a 10mm socket. And those other hex bolts I took off, I use 3/16, but I think the metric is 5mm. Neatly comes off. Very short bolts. Okay, I removed 2 nuts from this pillar, and right behind there is the airbag. So this is another reminder that you definitely want to disconnect your battery before attempting any of this. Wanted to do that so that I could get the headliner out nice and easily, and I hopefully will only have to do one side. All right, my theory is if I get one side down, it'll be easy to just pull the other side out. Oh. If I take this little metal bracket out, it'll come out nice and easy. Show you that. That metal bracket right there, I didn't take it out. If I take that out, 2 bolts, things will be real easy. Yeah, now it's real easy. Now that I took that bracket out, it should kind of, sort of. Right down. Whew, that's all there is to it. And there are 3 of these plastic nuts that need to be removed. Then before you can get the shelf out, you have to remove or loosen 4 of these bolts. Now, just to keep things interesting, they changed the size to 4mm from 5mm. I mean, really, they could have just left it at 5mm. Would have made things a little better. So, I wonder if I can do it by just loosening them. Yep. You just need to loosen those, and they'll stay right in there in those clips. Out comes a plastic shelf. So why did I take this all apart? Well, a couple of reasons. One, we want to put sound deadening material in here. We also want to insulate it. And while we're at it, we're going to run lots of electrical wiring so that we can put USB in the shelf above so we can charge our phones while we're driving, and put in some wiring for dash cams and things like that. We'll also run a couple extra wires just in case there's something I might have forgotten. The wiring will already be there.